The afternoon. Monica was there. Windy was there. Felt like the whole world was at the Garden yesterday. Tyrese Halliburton, well, he changed his clothes before the postgame. I'll tell you that. We'll get to that. Oh, Josh Hart and OG Anunoby played. Anunoby limping around out there a la Willis Reed. What'd you think of it, Windy?
I couldn't believe he played in this game. When he ran, forget about that. When he shuffled in from the tunnel, the crowd was cheering and the Pacers were going, they're not actually going to play him, are they? And they absolutely attacked him like crazy. Rick Carlisle said the two shots that he hit were tougher than the Willis Reed shots, which is true. He had crazy shots, but the Pacers were still ahead because they got free looks against him early on and they got their confidence back.
And then Tyrese Halliburton just started going crazy and the Pacers had a 12-point lead and they would really never look back.
I mean, look, you've heard people talk around he's Steve Nash 2.0, his ability to push speed and create shots. That's what him and TJ McConnell did the whole game.
Pacers by 15 at the half. Now, the Knicks did make a run here, Monica, behind Jalen Brunson. They would get as close as 8.
So you guys know I do the little behind the scenes on the radios. This was the moment that I set up the camera because I was like, are they going to do it? You just felt like they might be able to dig deep. But the efficiency of the Pacers all night long, and of course, this moment, oof.
We believe that's when Jalen Brunson broke his left hand and was done for the rest of the day, and so were the Knicks for the rest of the season. Great ball movement here from the Pacers. When the Knicks cut it to 8, they had answers the whole way. That makes it a 12-point game, and then legs more. Just the Pacers were active. They just were the better team yesterday in every way.
They were, and that's just a casual play made by the Knicks. And then that situation in the game, you just can't make that play. It's the inbounder's fault. It's Brunson's fault. TJ McConnell was absolutely sensational this entire series. He was again yesterday.
Halliburton at 26. Spike Lee disappointed. Again, agony and ecstasy.
And you didn't think this was a successful year.
Right.
Why do you feel that way, and how would you evaluate the year?
Did we win the championship? Did we get close?
Somewhat.
So, no. That's my mindset. That's just how it is.
We expected to be here. This ain't a surprise for us. It's no fluke. We expect this from our group. And then once we added P, we knew that we could really take off. So it doesn't really matter what anybody thinks except for the people in our travel party, 70, 80 people who come. Because I don't think anybody here picked the Pacers to win the series.
They
but
didn't.
It happened.
I have picture proof.
Yes. What are we doing?
To Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
I mean,
So previously.
isn't this what you love? Isn't this what you want? Like, is this not your leader? Like, I'm not up here making any excuses. Yeah, you can sit here and talk about all the injuries. You can talk about all the questions we have, my hand being broken. But every single year, I want to win a championship, and that should be the standard of excellence we should set with our team.
Okay.
Nothing else.
So we'll set that to begin. Again, you covered this series every single day, every single practice, every single minute. What is the single biggest reason the Pacers are going on and the Knicks are going home?
The Knicks just didn't have enough. By the end of first off, they were already playing basically one guy who started this season as a starter. By the end of yesterday's game, they were down like 6 players. There was just no way for them to compete. I will say this, the Pacers coming in to Game 7, most of those guys have never seen a Game 7 before, on the road and having that kind of shooting performance, that was amazing. But the Knicks just weren't there. And the Pacers have benefited, no doubt, by playing the Bucks without Giannis, and then Dame got hurt, and certainly in this series. But they had to take it. And to win this game under these circumstances, to shoot 67% in the Garden on a Sunday afternoon Game 7, they were ready to play, and I credit their leaders, and I credit Rick Carlisle for getting them there.
Legler, the first thing you said to me, we were sitting in there, just a couple of guys sitting around the makeup room, as a couple of guys are known to do. and the first thing you said to me was, a lot of credit to the Pacers. I don't think we talked enough about how good they were all year long.
We didn't. And they were that team that kind of got lost in the shuffle because you're watching their style all year. And I'm so impressed. First of all, Rick Carlisle changing his philosophy as a coach this late in his career to adapt to his roster, to adapt to like modern NBA offense. Mm-hmm. That's not easy for old school coaches. Rick Carlisle did it. I was just so impressed with them offensively all year because they're so hard to guard in the regular season when you have one shoot around to talk about them. In a series, I thought maybe you could adjust to them as the series went on. But that performance they put on yesterday, in that first quarter, to come out in a Game 7 with that kind of pressure and shoot the ball like that is a testament to how good they are offensively and how little wasted motion they have.
So Tyrese Halliburton came out firing on all cylinders. 76% they shot from the field in the first half.
Yeah,
Are you
they
kidding me?
did.
76%. So that's your star in a big moment where he's been a little bit inept scoring, really take on it. And then I got to give TJ McConnell a lot of credit, man. I mean, there's a reason why they loved him so much in Philly. I know it's not a name that's going to be as sexy that people are going to want to talk about today, but he just gets to where he needs to be on the court every single possession. And defensively, he is constantly in your pocket. They set a tone different ways.
Look at the number at the bottom of your screen. They wound up having the best shooting game in a playoff game in the history of the NBA. That's an extraordinary statistic when you consider the magnitude of the day. And the Pacers go on, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about them as they go up against the Celtics beginning tomorrow night. As far as the Knicks are concerned, 2 hot-button issues here. And again, Monica, you're with them every day through the entire season. Let's go little picture first. Do you question the decision to play Anunoby even the 5 minutes they did yesterday?
I don't. And before I jump into the Knicks, though, I agree with Legs in that you watch this Pacers squad grow exponentially over the course of this series. And kudos to them. That's a really good team. I don't disagree with the decision to play OG Anunoby. Tom Thibodeau is not a guy that is just going to push a guy to play. I think the culture that this team developed this year, the trust, the way they were pulling for one another, I have a hard time believing that if OG Anunoby didn't want to go, he wouldn't have gone. And so I think that was him doing his best effort to be all in for this team for the 4.5 minutes that it lasted.
Do you think it was a negative?
He cannot move. The Pacers saw it. They almost were apologetic of what they had to do to him. They made their first 4 shots against him. He could not move. Pascal Siakam got a 17-footer. It was a practice shot on the first play of the game, and they got 4 easy baskets. Who knows if they have this kind of shooting game if they don't get 4 easy baskets playing 4-on-5. I appreciate that he's trying to come out and give them anything. You cannot watch him move and say that he should have been out once it was done.
I don't think that the 4 baskets that they hit, and if you want to do the math, it was really a -2 because he did hit 2 threes while he was in there. So, if you want to call it a wash, it's a wash. Like, I appreciate the effort. He didn't step.
But it wasn't a wash. He hit those shots, and they were cheering, but the Pacers were ahead.
It got
Look,
past
it wasn't the whole
going
game.
early, though, because he got into it.
Siakam been going for 2 games. Like,
No,
going
I hear you,
into
but it's blood in the water. You attack that matchup whenever the dude was barely able to move on the court.
So, but here's the thing. You don't go to him unless you are absolutely at a deficit in terms of body count, right?
Agreed.
So you do what you can.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what's being said here. One thing I want to say is, from a player's perspective, like, it's a different era in that this is usually taken out of their hands completely. Right, during the season, this is a game 7. OG Anunoby, guarantee you, was fighting to get into this game. And in a game 7, you're going to listen to him more. And ultimately, it's going to be difficult to keep that guy out of the game. My only thing was when I saw him moving at the start of the game, I'm saying to myself, well, they must have seen him in pregame warmups. Right? They're putting him through some sort of a warm-up to look at him. That, to me, should have excluded him from playing. The way he must have looked when they were warming up before the game, because the very first trip, he started dragging his leg. But I'm not going to sit there and blame Tibbs or the team. OG Anunoby had a lot to do with playing in this game, and you're going to give a guy more leeway in a playoff game of this magnitude. And to their credit, obviously, they quickly shut this down after a few minutes. And look, you're right, Siakam seeing the ball go in early, that definitely does change a scorer's perspective. But I don't think it was going to matter on this day. Indiana was just too good, too sharp, too ready, too poised.
Too much depth. Way too many bodies.
Well, and the Knicks just didn't have any depth left. What's ironic, for those who, there are a lot of people who just sort of parachute into the NBA late in the season and into the playoffs. The Knicks are where they are, got where they got because they were so deep this year. That's the ultimate irony of this team. But the injuries started to come, and they started to drop like flies. And people will ask the question, does the coach have something to do with that? It is an impossible question to avoid. Doesn't mean the answer is yes. And we're going to go in search of that answer as we continue.